as a chief legal officer, sometimes I'm a fireman, sometimes I'm a policeman, sometimes I'm a psychiatrist, and other times I'm probably just a friend.
I'm delighted to be joined by Rick Sinkfield, Chief Legal Officer at ETS.
Ultimately, we're here to serve a mission, to fulfill a purpose. We still have your SAT scores. I'll look it up and people would be very frightened, like, oh my gosh. I'm like, no, I'm just joking. You have to make big decisions with imperfect information. I feel like when you play sports, you learn so much about life. You have to play the game in order to figure out what the result's going to be.
Any sports bring discipline. That's very crucial for any part of life.
And you also learn that you can have joy even when you don't win. So I'm excited for ETS that on a global basis, we can help society recalibrate the value of work.
Behind every successful organization are leaders who quietly help guide decisions, build trust, and create the foundations for long term impact. Their work may not always be visible, but its influence can be felt across teams, partnerships, and communities. Our today's guest is one of such leader. Welcome to the latest episode of Voices of Impact podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by Rick Sinkfield, Chief Legal Officer at ETS. With a career spanning higher education, services, and global markets, Rick shares unique insights on leadership, integrity, and how trust drives meaningful impact. Rick, we are so delighted to have you with us today. And this is our Voice of Impact podcast. So I'll start asking questions. Be candid.
I'll try.
All right. So, Rick, legal leadership is often associated with managing risk and solving problems. But beyond the title, how would you describe your leadership philosophy?
Well, first, Mona, let me thank you for being a guest on your podcast. That's a very tough question. You know, there's been a lot written about leadership and different leadership styles. And so when people think about the chief legal officer, just general counsel in general, they think about roles.
Yeah.
So, you know, as a chief legal officer, sometimes I'm a fireman, sometimes I'm a policeman, sometimes I'm a psychiatrist, and other times I'm probably just a friend. And so I think the key to all of that is I like to lead by listening. And then with that listening, I try to build consensus because ultimately we're here to serve a mission, to fulfill a purpose. And if we get consensus, then we can all work together and push in the same direction.
Yeah, and I can vouch for that in terms of being a good listener. How many times I have come and called you directly and talked to you about the problems, and you have been a very good listener. So thank you, Rick.
Absolutely.
By the way, how many fires you have doused so far?
Oh, wow. Well, it's interesting because I think the key to putting out fires is to figure out where the smoke is first,
Yes,
and you get to it before it catches flame.
right.
And I think the second key is, you know, if you're just one fireman, you're not very effective. But if you have a whole squad,
Correct.
then you can be very effective and you can be in more places at the same time. And so when I think about our relationship, I think you're great at saying that there's smoke here, and then we can develop a plan to put the smoke out so that it doesn't really catch on fire. So I consider you part of my team.
Right.
But certainly, I think that's the best strategy. Use your team.
Right. My pleasure to be part of your
Absolutely.
team.
Use the team.
Yes. Okay. ETS plays a unique role in helping learners around the world access opportunities through education and assessments. What is it about ETS mission that resonates most deeply with you?
You know, before I came to ETS, I had a very limited view of what ETS does. So much so that when people would ask me, you know, hey, what do you do or where do you work? And I'd say, oh, I'm going to be the chief legal officer at ETS. And they go, ETS. I'm like, yeah. They're like, how do I know ETS? And then I'd go, SAT, right? Because
Yeah.
we had the partnership with the College Board. We still do, but for so many years.
Yes.
And you'd say, SAT, College Board, ETS. It was like written on the materials. And I would joke with people and I would say, well, we still have your SAT scores.
Yes.
I'll look it up, and people would be very frightened, like, oh my gosh. I'm like, no, I'm just joking. We don't really still have those scores. So I had a very limited view. Once I came to ETS, I realized what ETS is really about. And it's really about being a key to opportunity.
Right.
There's a Pulitzer winning prize called English.
Yes.
And it's about 4 Iranian students and their experience preparing for TOEFL.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And so when you think about what that means, whether they're Iranian or Indian or German or Chinese, it doesn't really matter. ETS stands for opportunity. And then when I started to read about where the SAT came from, and really that it was a test designed, adopted from the U.S. Army, but designed to level the playing field throughout the United States, where very selective institutions were basically discriminating against students from other regions where they weren't familiar.
Right.
And so they didn't trust that the education in Iowa was as good as it was in Massachusetts.
Right.
So the kid from Iowa, at that time, only men, weren't being admitted to the elite institutions in the East. But with the SAT, both students could take the same test, and they could be compared on a knowledge basis. And then over time, with psychometrics, ETS understood that how you take the test and what questions you ask could benefit one person over another, and it has nothing to do with what they actually know.
Right.
And so now that we're in the business of fair tests and valid tests,
right,
that gives meaning to opportunity.
Yes.
Because it really means that a kid in India who scores a 180 on the TOEFL has the same English proficiency as a kid in China or Haiti or France. That 180 is a 180 wherever you are.
Right.
And that tells something to the world about their skills. And now that we are trying to develop tests like that for lots more disciplines, that means that people will be able to be recognized for what they know and not where they come from and not where they look like. And that is the basis of real opportunity. And that makes me very happy and very excited to go to work every day.
Right. No, this is very profound, Rick, in terms of like sharing that whole background of SAT and how it started and how it came. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Let's move to the next question. Throughout your career, you have worked across different regions, industries, and cultures. What one lesson you have learned about making difficult decisions that has stayed with you?
Oh, sure. In a world where we feel like we have information at the tip of our fingertips in our pocket, right? Every question you just ask Google or ask Claude or ask Copilot or ChatGPT. I'm reminded of one of my bosses, Bob Rubin, who was the Secretary of the Treasury early in my career, and he urged us all to not make any decision before we have to. And it sounds weird. You're like, well, why not make a decision early? Then you can move on to the next thing, right? We're busy. And what he was trying to get us to understand is that with time, things happen, and maybe you need to consider that in your decision-making process. And even if you think you have all the information, take the time to review it, to discuss it, to contemplate it before you make the decision. Time has a way of making us all look stupid, basically. Right? If you live long enough, the stuff you thought was right, maybe it wasn't so right. Take the time to make the decision. And that's what I try to do. I really try to just sit and ask myself, do we have to make this decision now?
Makes sense.
And if we don't.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's not delay tactics, but it's like think through, sit on it,
Yeah.
sleep over it, and then you will maybe find more facts, and then you can make a better decision.
And sometimes
Yes.
nothing new comes to light.
Right.
But at least you have the satisfaction
Yes.
of knowing, okay. And also in this world, even though we think that we can get all the facts, the reality is you have to make big decisions with imperfect information.
That's true.
And be prepared to live with it.
Yes.
And adjust. That's really where I think good leaders and good decision makers make a difference. Is you can't be afraid to make a decision.
Yeah.
Make it, own it.
Right.
And then own the adjustment later.
Yeah, and the outcome of it.
Absolutely.
Also.
Yeah.
Yes. Very well said. So, what's something people might be surprised to learn about Rick Sinkfield outside of the work? I know one thing.
What's your thing?
the viral videos you make with your daughters.
Yes. Well, it's funny though. I don't know if you saw this in the newspaper, but the UK is going to ban TikTok and all the social media sites for children under, I don't know what age it is. So maybe it's gonna. My daughters are much older now, but maybe it's gonna come to an end. But other than my daughters convinced me to make TikTok videos, I'm passionate about sports.
Yes.
All sports, just about. I mean, I come here and I watch cricket.
Right.
I don't know. Just for the record, I don't know that much about cricket. But it's important. And so I was in the gym a few nights ago watching highlights of the Asia World Cup, India versus Pakistan. And of course, I don't need to know anything about cricket to know that was a very important match for India and Pakistan.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm learning it just by watching in terms of, wickets and things like that. So yeah, I'm a big sports fan. And I'm a big sports fan because I feel like when you play sports, you learn so much about life. Right. And the preparation, the amount of time and effort that professionals and elite athletes commit to their craft is amazing.
Yes.
People think it's all physical. Right. It's not. It's here. It's mental preparation. It's making decisions, right? Yes. It's all those things. And I think the other thing about sports is, especially team sports, but individual sports too, anybody can win on any given day. Just something, you have to play the game in order to figure out what the result's going to be.
Yes.
You may think this person's going to win.
Yes.
And they don't.
Right.
But if you don't play,
yeah,
that's life. If you're not in the game, yeah, you can't win.
Yes.
And I like that.
Yeah. I heard about you talking about your daughters being athletes, you as an athlete, and then of course any sports bring discipline as well, and that's very crucial for any part of life, which sometimes we underrate, but it's very, very important.
And also, it brings joy.
Yes.
And you also learn that you can have joy even when you don't win.
Yes.
Because you did your best, the effort. And you also appreciate that sometimes somebody else is just better than you.
Right. Yeah, keep playing, never quit. It's fine.
And you respect that, and they respect you. And so there's just a lot to be learned.
Yes.
I think in sports. But you start with fun.
Yes.
It should start with fun.
So let me ask you a fun question about cricket. What does this sign mean in cricket when umpire does this?
I saw them do it. Hold on, let me think. Well, I don't know what it's called, but hold on, I saw it. So the baller, it's the baller, right?
Yeah,
no,
baller. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He's not out.
It's out.
It is out. Okay, yes.
It is out.
He was out. Okay, good.
I won't be able to answer those many questions about baseball or soccer, so it's very good. Spot on.
But the match that I saw, It looked like India. It was a 2025, so I guess
Right.
India was behind,
Right.
and they were at their last at bat, and they just kept, and Pakistan couldn't get them out,
Right.
and so yeah,
Yeah.
and so there were very few outs,
Right.
but
Yes.
they won on their last at bat. It was very impressive.
Yeah. Impressive. Okay. Looking back at your younger self at the start of your career, and you shared some stories with us already. What's one piece of advice you would give younger Rick today?
There's so much.
The Brazil story.
There's so many things that I would tell. You know, I didn't have a plan when I started my career.
Right.
You know, my only plan was just to, go and kind of try to be a good professional and see how it turned out. I didn't have a plan. I didn't think, one day I'm going to go do this and I'm going to do that. And so I should have been more deliberate about the experiences that I got at work.
Hmm.
And I didn't start that until later on in my career. And the advice I got from one of my mentors was, if someone was in this office and said, I want to be the head of the office in India, like Mona, if that's what they want, then they should come sit and talk to you, and they should look at you and other heads of India offices, and they should look at the steps of their career, and then look at their own career and say, aha, if I want to be the head of the India office, then I probably need to do these 4 things, and that will get me there. So it can happen. It's not magic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I wasn't very deliberate. And so I kept getting really good jobs and great experience. But I wasn't doing it on a plan.
Right.
I got the plan later after. It was like, oh, I had these great experiences. What am I going to be when I grow up? Right. And then I started planning. So I think I would tell Rick, plan, be a better planner.
Yeah, but it all worked out well.
It did.
You are chief legal officer.
Don't recommend
at
that.
ETS. Yes.
Plan. Get a better plan.
Yes. Yes. No, we cannot undervalue plan. Importance of plan.
Your plan may not work out, and that's okay.
That's fine.
But at least you have a plan. I think that's the point. Have a plan.
And this generation has plan A, B, and C. So I think we are good.
Look, I love that. I love the fact that people have work, and they have this other thing, and this other thing. Yes. I think that's great, because I think for our generation, we were told that you couldn't have more than one thing.
Yes.
You just had to do one thing and be good at it and just be happy for the rest of your life.
Right.
That's so not the way the world works now.
Yes.
So now that I'm older, I'm going to have a few plans.
Right. Works out well. All right. When you think about the future of ETS and the impact we can create globally, what excites you most?
World's changing fast. But people are the same.
Yes.
People want the same things they did 10, 15, 50, 100 years ago. They want to be valued as individuals, I think. They want to be valued in society, and that's usually associated with what kind of work they do. And they want a modicum of achievement, independence, and free time.
Right.
And those things have different values in different proportions. So for ETS, we play very heavily in the space of how do we value work. And the assessments that we do, the training, all these things, work has to be meaningful.
Right.
And because if it's not, all those other things are out of whack. They're out of sync, and people aren't going to be happy. So I'm excited for ETS that on a global basis, we can help society recalibrate the value of work across a bunch of different sectors, across a bunch of different countries, and help people figure out what happiness means as they try to balance work, home, right, and professionalism. So
Yeah. No, that's very true. I think we can do a lot in this space,
I think we
right?
can.
Globally.
I think we can.
Yes.
And we have our brand is strong globally.
Yes.
It's very strong.
Yes.
And not a lot of companies can say that. And so while it gives us a great opportunity, it also means we have a great responsibility
That's true.
to use that brand to help people.
Yeah, that is very true. Rick, it's been wonderful hearing your perspective on leadership, purpose, decision making, and the experiences that have shaped your journey. Conversations like these remind us that behind every title is a story and a commitment to creating meaningful impact. Thank you so much, Rick, for being on
Thank
our
you. Thanks for
podcast. I
inviting
know
me.
it's you have a very busy schedule, so thank
It's
you for taking out time for our
it's been a
podcast.
great day. Thank you. Namaste.
All right, thank you.